Hello, everyone that's changing for student pages. Hope you're all doing very well once again. Today we are here with Tom Did It. How are you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm very, very good, Tom. So, breakout in the music industry, obviously very exciting time for yourself with a lot releasing. To get started, just give us a bit of background as to like what got you started in music and what made you go this direction.
You know what it was? I feel like any creative at school, I didn't enjoy exams. I didn't enjoy kind of school as such. So I was just looking for every way to kind of do practical work. So for my GCSEs, I picked drama, music, and I did computing as well because it was on the computer. I was good at computers. And I feel like it just started from there. It was my GCSE music teacher who kind of put the knife in my back to kind of pick music and kind of pursue it because he thought I was quite talented. I was making beats at that point, so I'd never sung. I was a really bad singer, like in the car and in the shower. I was never really a singer, so I was just making beats. I got a laptop to revise for my GCSEs. I did no revision. I just used it to make beats and kind of start my career. So yeah, it stemmed from there, and then I went college, and I feel like it was those two spaces that kind of pushed me to kind of pursue music. Definitely at college, the first time I kind of ever met another person who wanted to do the same thing as me. Because at school there was no musicians, there was no creatives. Everyone was just kind of get good GCSEs, get good A levels, go to uni. You know what I mean? So I feel like I kind of went a different way than everyone else, which was difficult and a blessing at the same time. So yeah.
I'm gonna say it makes you stick out more than, doesn't it? And yeah, I think it's good to hear that you actually had that experience in school because I think a lot of people have to pursue this stuff outside of education because they don't get the exposure to it and don't really get encouraged in
No,
school. So
yeah.
it's nice to hear a different perspective on that, really, because as I say, it's usually you don't often get that, I suppose.
No, I mean, I went to a state school that had, public funding and government funding for music and stuff like that. And it had a music studio. And I feel like I was the only person who took advantage of that kind of thing. I feel like everyone thought it was kind of a bit wet or a bit like not cool to do that. It
Yeah.
was every lunchtime by myself. You can ask anyone at school, they're all kicking ball on the field or playing basketball or chasing after girls, whatever the hell you do in school, man. But I was every lunch in the studio making beats, offering to work on older students' music, offering to work on my teacher's music, just trying to do anything I could to kind of get better. And I felt like I just enjoyed my own company as well. I didn't really like the people at school, but I liked kind of a few subjects. I did quite enjoy it, yeah.
No, that's cool. So, I mean, for your debut mixtape, then did it? What would you say about that mixtape developed you as an artist, and what was the inspiration behind it?
So I started it all when I kind of had my foot in the industry. So I kind of started it as soon as I signed my deal, like 2 and a bit years ago now. And it's just been 2 years of kind of developing, getting to know the ins and outs of the music industry, the kind of rap scene in the London and the UK. And yeah, it's kind of just been a whole learning curve and kind of I just wanted the mixtape to hone in on how different my story was to everyone else's. Like I'm doing this from outside of London, you know what I mean? I'm by myself. It's all self-mixed, self-produced kind of. I go through and do all of that. So I just wanted to, it's why it's called Did It. You know what I mean? Tom did it. It's a manifestation thing. It's
You
always
did do it, or you're doing it.
exactly. So maybe, yeah, I was going to call it doing it, but it's not, it wasn't as cool. So I kept it as did it. But yeah, so it's just about me kind of honing in by myself in this barn. There's elements of like love songs in there about being a kid and in your 20s in the UK and stuff like that. And there's some wicked collaborations on there with the producers as well as the artists. Producer I've worked with, I've got a close relationship with on there. And we went back and forth on beat ideas and different things musically. I like to be quite hands-on slash annoying, I feel like in their eyes as well, which is okay. I feel like
Yeah.
as long as we come out with the right product, I feel like it doesn't matter how you get there. So yeah, sometimes I can be a bit hands-on, but people are getting used to it. And also I care about my art. I care about my music. So yeah, it's a lot of collaboration. That's kind of what I learned to do because coming out of here, this is where I started making music in this room in the middle of nowhere in just outside Luton. So to come from this, having no one to work with, to be able to kind of have the whole music scene at my fingertips and be able to kind of pick up the phone and call these, people who produce for Central C and people who produce for D Block and stuff like that. It's a blessing. So I've kind of taken full advantage of that. And I'm really just pulling out all the big guns on this tape for sure.
No, that's surreal. Yeah, to work with people who have like had such huge names behind them, it's like that's got to be so sick. Like you say, especially given like what your story's been and like how you started out, it's kind of like wow, yeah, like you said, Tom did it. It's like that's
That's
what
it,
I'm
man.
hearing. Obviously, we know the genre, but like, how would you describe your music personally? What do you think makes it stand out from the rest?
I would call myself a multifaceted artist. I feel like I couldn't really box myself in. I couldn't put a name on my sound, but I make pop music on rap beats. I feel like that's the
Mm.
easiest way to describe it in layman's terms. It's catchy kind of hooks, catchy melodies. I rap as well. I do my bit of grime, a bit of freestyling and stuff like that. But in general, I like making catchy pop songs with good choruses, musical structure, bridges, verse, chorus kind of thing. But I've always been a fan of rap. So I've immediately dived myself and put myself in the middle of this kind of UK rap scene with the people I've started to work with and the people who have kind of backed me in what I'm doing, like Nath and Chip and Lowski and all of these people. So yeah, it's just kind of I've tried to blend them as much as I could because
Yeah.
coming from out London, I wasn't really exposed to rap music and UK rap until a lot later in my life. I was like 14, 15. So, even though it's a long time ago, it's a lot later than other people. I feel like all my friends from London grew up, they had a rapper from their borough, they had a rapper from their road that they could kind of look up to. Whereas around here, I've got Nath who's from Luton, but he wasn't really popping until I was like 14, 15. So yeah, it was a different experience, I feel like, with the rap music.
Yeah, no, I imagine it's different in London to like live, laugh, Luton.
Mate, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. And there's nothing, there's no studio. There's not a music studio in Luton unless someone's got it built in their back garden. There's not a public, it's not a pirate. There's not, all these places where you can just rock
They'll
up
be
and
gatekeeping it, won't they?
I'd like to dip my toe in as many sounds as I can. And I get bored as an artist if I'm just doing one thing. I feel like, how are you doing a EP or a mixtape with 11 songs all at the same tempo with the same kind of drill beat or the same kind of whatever, whatever you want to do. To me, I would get so bored. So yeah, I've tried to kind of dip and dive into as many sounds as possible while it remaining cohesive. And I feel like the thing that glues it together is my voice, bro. I feel like just to kind of rasp and the subject matters and the melodies, I feel like that's what's going to keep my music together and sounding kind of cohesive, you get me? Bigger as well, bigger than rap and bigger than kind of hip hop. It's like every superstar, you look as far back as Elton John, as far back as, Robbie Williams, people like that. Some of these people aren't great singers, but because they have such a distinctive voice and such a distinctive manner about how they put themselves on a record, people are always gonna kind of gravitate towards it, and that's what I want to be. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not hitting every note perfectly. Maybe I'm using a bit of auto tune. You know what I mean? But I want people to gravitate back to the feeling of it. You get me? Yeah,
No,
man.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, go on then in your entire journey so far, because you mentioned obviously this goes as far back as school. I'm curious then, was there any like criticism or bullying from the people around you because of what you wanted to do? Or was the support network sort of there enough to keep you going through? Because again, even today with like internet trolls and stuff, that's something we often touch on. Is just like people can be so harsh on people they don't even know. So I'm just curious what your experience with all that is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in school, it was definitely a singular mission in my head, and I knew no one else. There was one other guy of my year who kind of made music, but it was super different to what I wanted to do. He made like indie rock and stuff like that. So we got on, we related, but where I wanted to be was very different to where he wanted to be. So yeah, in school, bro, there's so much always bullying, man, especially if you want to be different in kind of a world outside London where there's not creatives, there's not people that want to be a photographer, there's not people that want to be a radio interviewer because it's so out of reach where I am. You know what I mean? So people don't even pick up the pen and try. And I kind of want to just change that narrative. So yeah, for me, bro, it was lots of bullying. Even like until I got to college and I realized, yeah, I'm sick. I'm in this class, I'm making these tunes and I'm playing it to the class and everyone's like, mad. Like that's kind of when I thought, okay, this is cool. And so I was like 16. So about, I don't know, 2, 3 years after I started making music, people started taking me seriously. But that's, well, to this day, there's still doubters, friends, family, everyone, bro. You know what I mean? You've got to either bring in a hell of a load of money or you got to perform on a massive stage to kind of legitimize music to people. So yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's not bullying, it's more so legitimizing it to people and kind of being like, cool, you do a 9 to 5 and you earn good money and you get a monthly wage, but I'm doing something very different. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It pays the bills and you get me.
No, no, I absolutely do. Yeah, it's like because again, I think that's so relatable in so many industries and stuff as well. And that like unless you can sort of, it's almost like you need to back up what you're doing with some sort of evidence that it's worth the time instead of just being able to say I've got a passion for it and that's why I do it.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that these days people need sort of that. Oh, this is why as sort of an ex almost an excuse for what they do instead of just being able to say I do it because it's great and if it makes money, it makes money.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of been sad to see that shift happen because I remember a time when it wasn't like that. For example, like when YouTube was first starting out, obviously no one had any followers or anything, and everyone was there just to watch what they wanted to watch and stuff. Now it is just a numbers game. And
Yeah.
again, I think it's sad to see how that's expanded to like all these different industries. It's like, why are we so obsessed with outreach? Quality over quantity, I suppose. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
why can't we focus more on what's being produced than how many people are listening?
100%. And now I feel like you can't just be an artist. You got to be a big artist. Like there are so many, it's so easy to be called famous nowadays. It is so saturated. There is so many little pockets of music, even in the UK, let alone in the world. So, to be able to be credible, you got to be at the top of kind of one of these pools of music or competing with the big guys. And sadly today that's seen in numbers. So I'm working on it, and we're gonna get there because you got to play the game sometimes. And as much as I despise putting the camera up and filming myself on TikTok every day, it's a business. You get me?
Yeah.
It's a business.
Hmm.
You got to make sacrifices, and it's going to be worth it in the long run. And that's also what I'd say to other artists. It's like you can look at it as like I love doing it and I want to do it, but at some point, something's got to change in your heads when you realize this isn't a hobby anymore. Like this is what I want to do. I've got nothing to fall back on, and we've got to play the game here, and it's got to work because it's not, for me especially, there's not a plan B. So, I know if this doesn't work, that's it. So it's gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it has to, doesn't it? It's like I don't really have that option. And again, I think for as long as it's something I've heard so much in these interviews, and something that people from all different aspects of like creative industries have told me is that as long as you believe you can make it and you keep at it and you never sort of tell yourself, that's it, like I'm stopping here, there will just come a point at some point where things just skyrocket out of nowhere. It's like almost inevitable.
That's it. I feel like if you just keep going, something will happen. I've seen it in so many cases now, especially being in the industry for, 6 years now. You see people skyrocket. I've seen people go from zero to 1 million followers. Leo stayed true. I met him when he had, I don't know if you've heard of him, but I met him when he had 10K followers. He's now got 500,000 and he's touring Asia with Arsenal. So it's like it happens. And
Yeah.
it's luck nowadays because it's so saturated. There is such a big element of luck. Obviously, it's hard work. It's filling everyone's feed with your music, but there's no pathway to it. There used to be a pathway to fame. You sign a deal, you do this, you do that, and you're going to be on the Brits within X amount of years. Whereas now, there's no guarantee of anything. You know what I mean? You can drop a tune, you can go viral, you could be the most famous thing that people have seen, and then you could disappear after a year and a half, and no one give a crap about you. So yeah.
No, absolutely. It's crazy. It's what I mean. It's the space, isn't it? It's like it's evolving, and I think it's scary to see it happening. But equally, I think there's more ways to take advantage of it. But yeah, it's just a very complex, multifaceted space, I suppose. But I mean, so you mentioned earlier about some of the themes in your music. I'm curious, have you had like any real life experiences that have made their way into your songs, or are they more about like a message, or what would you say was the objective there for you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I feel like everything I write about is either taken from my life, it's aspects of my life, aspects of other people, but I just like telling stories. So I may take a story I've heard somewhere else and kind of tie it in with something else and just write a good song. It's not a conceptual body of work, you know what I mean? There's not a real, it's not like let's say you sat down and listened to Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. It doesn't have that kind of, it's not an album, it's a mixtape, it's a collection of good songs. So to me, yeah, it's, growing up in the UK as a kid, witnessing drug use, addiction, not going to university. I've had family members who have committed suicide and lost their life to alcohol and stuff like that. So it's taken stuff from every part of my life and other people's life. You get me? So yeah, it's a collection of stories, memories, kind of all just bunched into a good group of songs. But me, even when I'm writing a depressing song, I've sat there and told you two kind of deep, harrowing subjects. But to me, I kind of I like to kind of juxtapose that with the instrumental. So maybe I'll be writing about something like that, but it will be on like a bouncy kind of like dancey song. You get me? And it will sound happy, but the words I'm writing are completely the opposite. So yeah, I feel like I'm not a depressing person. So even though some of the stuff I write about are quite depressing, I don't like to show that, you know what I mean? I like to bring a light to the room. And I feel like for me, that's always what music's done.
Mm. No, I mean, I'm sorry to hear about the loss that you've experienced, but I think something I've always very much respected is when people can take something like that and turn it into something beautiful. And I think that is, if that's what you're aiming to do, and if that's what you do with your music, I think that is an incredibly strong, an incredibly strong motive to leave with, to sort of take these experiences and turn them into something that you can share, turn them into like an art form.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something that just anyone can do. So that's always been something I've very much respected in especially music artists.
Well, thank you, brother. Yeah, I feel like, beautiful is a good way to describe it. But for me, it's just to be able to make it palatable for someone who may not have experienced those things. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But like it's quite a difficult subject to talk about and listen to and hear about if you've not gone through it.
yeah,
So I feel like being able to put that in a story that might sound more relatable to most people is
yeah.
my
No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you spoke about TikTok earlier then. I'm curious because I think everyone has a very different take on this. If we're looking at social media and like the landscape at the minute, what's your experience with social media, and like, do you utilize it to promote your brand and your music, and do you enjoy using it? Because I think a lot of people see it as a necessary evil today, but I don't know whether it needs to be like that. I mean, what's your verdict on it all?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had the idea that it's a marketing tool, and I've only ever used it as that. I feel like only in recent years where I've been told by my team like you gotta pattern up is when I've started going crazy on it because like I said, it's playing the game.
Mm,
If I didn't have to, I wouldn't have it on my phone. You know what I mean? Same with Instagram, same with everything. I feel like there's one I like that I've started recently. I like live streaming. So I started streaming on Twitch and TikTok, me making music. And that's cool because that's just me doing what I do anyway, but I can just talk to people while I make my song. And that's fine. But going out doing these whole performances of songs in the middle of London with a cameraman for 4 hours a day, it's not my cup of tea. But like I said, I'm ticking boxes and I'm playing the game, and you've got to do what every one of your peers are doing and more. And
yeah.
that's kind of all I'm trying to do here. You know what I mean? It's just
Mm,
putting in work, bro. It's like it's the same as any job, bro. You work at an office, you do a sales job. The more calls you make, the more chance you're gonna have of getting a sale. So it's like the more videos you post, the more chance you're gonna have of one going. So it's the same thing.
It's frustrating on TikTok and Instagram, isn't it? Because it's like you got to follow a formula and do what everyone else is doing, but at the same time, you can't do what everyone else is doing. You almost got to find a new way to do the same thing. And I think it's scarier as we go like more and more into the age of social media, that I feel like we're going to come at a point where I don't know how people are going to come up with new ideas and new strategies. It's like I can't tell how much further out in the creativity realm we can get until every single idea has been used up. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's
It's like,
it's 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 crazy because now people are going back and people are like, I don't know if you saw Gets did it, and I don't know if Chance the Rapper did it or someone in the USA just did it, but they're now just doing only physicals. So it's just gone back in time again to back how it was when we only did CD vinyl whatever, but they're doing
mm,
USBs of their songs. So the only way you can get the album is by picking up the USB, and they've not done a social rollout, they've not done none of that. So it's just basically it's just flipped on its head. So to me, that's the way it will go, or I won't be here and you won't be here, and it'll be AI doing all of this in about 5 years, but we'll have to see.
Outside of music and outside of working on your stuff, what do you do in your free time to occupy yourself? You got any hobbies?
Mate, I can't lie. Life is, well, I feel like when you're an artist, I've been 110% music for like 6 years. So if I'm
Mm.
not like doing something like this, I'm making a song. I link my mates, they'll come up here. This is a nice chill spot in the studio. So like all of my boys from home where I live, none of them are really in the creative industry. So to me, it's nice to just kind of have a chill sesh, have a smoke, and kind of not speak about music and not do anything music. So yeah, I go watch the Arsenal. I got a season ticket at the Arsenal. So I'm a big football man. But bro, like I feel like for me, life is definitely music until I'm filthy rich and drop 3 albums, then we'll focus on having fun and hobbies and stuff like that. You get me?
No, no, totally. Like that's what I mean. It's like once you dedicate yourself to something, it's hard to switch off from it. I mean, it's good that you can, and it's good that you can take time off. But no, absolutely, it's like when you got something that you're good at and something that you enjoy as well, and something that can be a career, and it's all those things. Yeah, it's going to take over your life inevitably, isn't it? It's like what else? You can't do anything against that, and you probably wouldn't want to.
Exactly, and I don't, man. I feel like I was very lucky to find what I wanted to do early on, and I had the backing from my family to kind of do it and stay at home and be able to do it instead of going to university. And eventually, it kind of became lucrative, and I've started making money from it. So it's good. I feel like I just need
Yeah,
you just
no.
need the time, and given the time to kind of settle into what you're doing, and yeah. It's wicked, but I don't, bro. I don't have enough hobbies. I should start thinking about a life outside of music, but not yet.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's like maybe yeah, no, sink your teeth in a little further, maybe I don't know. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, so what advice have you got for people a similar age to yourself, or maybe like students that want to go into the music industry? Obviously, there's no key to it, and there's no one way to get in. But like from your experiences, what would you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there used to be a step-by-step path on how to do it, but I feel like nowadays, in my experience, it's be wherever you can be within music and see as many people as you can and meet as many people as you can because your phone book is the most powerful thing in the music industry. As much as I hate to admit it, I'd love to say it's about the talent. It's about, that's about 5% of what we're doing here. I feel like that. And you need that 5%. Don't get me wrong. That 5% is the most
Mm.
important 5%. But yeah, it's contacts. It's be wherever you can be surrounded by it. If, I lived in Luton, I still do. But I'm on the train into London as much as I can be, sitting at the back of studio sessions like a fly in the wall, annoying people going around asking producers, when are you free, all of this. Send a DM. DM is so powerful. People reply, even people with 100K followers, you think that their DMs are flooded. They're not. Like they see, what I mean? You see messages. So yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's the main thing. And just like I say, do your 10,000 hours. Just work, and don't stop.
No,
Yeah.
100%. So I mean, I suppose then on a similar note, on that entire on your journey, then even like to today, what would you say has been the biggest challenge of all of it, and how did you overcome it?
I definitely think kind of gravitated getting into London and just kind of being amongst it and kind of feel like when you do it, the early days I was doing it without a team. So when you do it without managers and stuff like that, people kind of speaking about you within the industry, that was the most difficult part was just the initial break into get you meet one guy and he knows all the people or he knows enough people to introduce you to another guy and then you meet that guy and that you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that initial break. But to me, the music's been the easiest bit. That's the bit you should love and enjoy and kind of just spend the most time on. And if you don't love that part, then I think you should stop right now, to be honest, because you can be great with people, but you need the final box checked. But you need everything. I feel like you need to be doing everything and more than what your peers are doing. And that's the only way you're gonna do it because it's so saturated now. Everyone wants to be a rapper, everyone wants to be a DJ, everyone wants to be a
Yeah.
producer. Um, be a bricklayer. That's what I would say. So I have less competition. I feel like that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, no, why not? Break the mold, I suppose.
Yeah,
So I
man.
mean, yeah. So go on. You've got did it out now. What are you working on next? If you're allowed to tell us,
Yeah, well, no,
any exciting stuff upcoming?
So the mixtape drops on the 21st of August. I don't know when this interview drops. But the mixtape drops on Thursday, a week today.
Yeah, we'll probably drop it on release day, I imagine.
Okay, wicked. So it's out now.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, so I mean, after that, it's back into this hole in this barn that I'm in and get the next body of work done. I want to do one with maybe less songs. This one's got 11 songs. Maybe I'll do a shorter one, and I just want to move the needle on the sound a bit. Maybe do a bit more poppy records and something a bit more dancey. Yeah, I want to be in the charts, man. You get me? Let's
No,
be.
that's dope. Hey, keep going the way you're going. I doubt it'll be long.
Yeah, brother. Hopefully, I appreciate it, man.
Hey, anytime. Well, I mean, Tom, it's been excellent talking to you. Honestly, best luck with everything you're doing. Obviously, congratulations on your success so far. And yeah, hopefully we can catch up in a bit of time and you got some new stuff for us.
A pleasure, mate. Yeah, we will do. Thank you, Jaden. I
Excellent
appreciate
stuff.